for tuning back into Skyline Columbus. I'm Brandon Locke.
And I'm Lauren Voll. We're talking about online safety. We just talked to Sarah about the cyberbullying symposium that her commission put on and some of the topics that were covered. We are now going to focus on one of the topics and actually talk to the organization that presented at the symposium.
It's always great to get experts in to talk about the topic, but in this subject, you also need to talk to the people that it impacts daily. And in this topic, the people that it impacts are young people, the younger generation. So today we're joined by three great guests who are both students and experts on this topic. We're talking to Jan Green River, Tawny Green River, and Brianna Foster, and they're here from Prevent Assault and Violence Education, PAVE for short, and that's a great organization.
Yes. Now, PAVE is a peer-led violence prevention program provided to teens in middle school and junior high, and it deals with physical and emotional abuse, anger management, peer aggression, sexual harassment, and sexual assault and rape.
A lot of stuff there.
Yeah. Now, thank you guys for joining us. Now, Jan, how long have you been the director of this program?
I've been working with MHA since about 2002 and since 2004 with PAVE specifically.
Now, you ladies are from Licking County.
Right.
Now, is there a Mental Health America in Franklin County?
Absolutely.
Okay. Now, you're the director of prevention and programs. What other programs do you manage besides PAVE?
Well, we have about 8 different programs that we work with. There's the Child Abuse Prevention Program and PAVE, of course, but there's also the I See Hope program, which is a program that goes into the elementary schools and simply talks about mental illness. Compere is for adults who might be experiencing mental illness and need to be encouraged to socialize and get out of the house and do things. We have the YES program, which is Youth Engaged in Service, and it's an after-school program for at-risk kids. We've got our community showcase in April. We meet every Monday, so it's mostly word of mouth when our high school students are talking to their friends.
I think one of the things we need to mention before we get into too much discussion, even though our topic today is really online bullying, we were talking with Sarah earlier, and one of the things she mentioned before we started here is this is not necessarily a new problem. It's a new medium for an old problem,
Right.
and that this isn't necessarily just focused on online problems and online bullying. So you guys focus also with the face-to-face peer interaction as well.
Everything. It's all interrelated. We know that a lot of it just comes from oppression work, being able to talk about that power and control dynamic.
Now, since you've been here, what kind of changes have you seen in terms of risk to young people?
It's greater. With the advent of the internet and all of the activity that goes on online, it's pretty important that the teens and middle school students especially are able to have a voice and be empowered to say, you know, this doesn't feel right, this isn't right, I've got to talk to somebody or tell someone.
How much do you think the internet has helped in bullying and violence online?
I think it's just given a lot of kids a new place to go. They find ways to pick on people no matter where they are.
Speaking of new places to go, for parents, and I think sometimes for teachers as well, internet, social networking sites, those are kind of new things, but to a younger generation, the people that you're talking to, they've grown up with it.
Right.
So I'm going to pose this question, first off to Brianna. I want to ask you this. Has there been a time in your life when you've not had the internet?
No.
Never.
No. Only when we didn't pay the bill.
Really?
But not for like to have it.
How would you think your life would be a little different if you didn't have the internet?
I wouldn't know what to do with myself. Like seriously, I mean I have my phone, but the internet, you keep in contact with people that you don't want to have your number.
Right.
So.
Tawny, how about you? Do you remember a time when you first started using email and instant messenger and social networking sites?
Well, I haven't had an email for very long.
Okay. Do you check it?
Yeah, I check it every once in a while, sometimes more than other times.
Okay.
And normally when I'm on the computer, it's pretty much for like an hour or two, but I don't get too involved in like the Facebook and the MySpace kind of stuff. So.
How do you think that it's changed email or Facebook or any of that stuff, the way you interact with people?
It moves pretty quickly. Like, first, MySpace came pretty big, and then it went straight to Facebook, and Facebook didn't last very long till Twitter came out.
Right.
And it just moves really fast, and you never know like what kind of stuff's always coming up next.
Because all those things are really immediate. Those are things that you can hit enter and it's done.
You
It's
guys
already
can
out.
tweet online and everything.
PAVE does too.
Good.
We have
I'm really good at
MySpace,
Twitter.
we have Facebook, and we have Twitter.
Great.
Yes.
Now, Tanya, how many years have you been a part of PAVE?
Technically, I've only been a part of PAVE for about a year and a half, but since my mom has been programming all this kind of stuff for a little bit longer. I've actually been with PAVE for about like 5 years and grew up with that kind of stuff.
Now explain your job as the historian.
As a historian, I do take pictures of things and I kind of put down the memories on paper, like in a scrapbook that I have that I've already started for the new year. And hopefully I'll be able to stay with it all this year and hopefully come back as a historian next year.
Bree, this is your first year. How did you hear about PAVE?
My dad is a social worker, and he goes to like all those different workshops every year. And he saw their presentation, and he came home and told me and my sister about it. And he just knew we was going to want to be in it. So,
Now, what makes you want to be a part of it?
because they like reach out to younger people, and like when I was in middle school, they didn't have that. And I think it's a good idea to like go and help them and let them see what it's really like, and they'll probably want to hear it from our point of view.
From an older person, older sister kind of view. Nice. Now, Jan, what kind of students typically get involved in these programs?
Any kind. As long as they're in grades 9 through 12 in Licking County, they're welcome to join our group. So we've got A students, we have students that maybe didn't pass every class last year in high school. We've got everybody.
Okay.
How does the community embrace the program? What kind of things do you get feedback on?
Well, I don't know that I would say they do embrace
Really?
the program.
Okay.
We could use a lot more support. Even parents whose students are in the program aren't as supportive as they could be. We've got a community showcase that's been going on for several years that is poorly attended. There are not a lot of people that come down because it's not a big thing. They don't hear about it. But the ones that we do know about, they like it.
Now, explain this community showcase you keep bringing up.
The community showcase is a chance for the students in the program and students in the clubs to present to the community, to all of Licking County, their views, their messages, whatever they've been experiencing and working on during the year.
So if somebody in the community did want to get involved, it could be something as simple as just showing up to some of the events
Sure.
and showing your support. What are some other things that they could do?
Well, we do have clubs in the high schools that are violence-based, but we let the students in each school talk about what their subjects are. At one school last year, Licking Heights Middle School, there were a lot of 8th grade students who really felt that sexual harassment and bullying were issues in their school. So they tackled that, and Maritza, I think you met at the symposium in May. Maritza was our star volunteer.
She was great.
She was wonderful. So for her, it meant every week she would go to the school, she would work with the students, she would let them decide what the issues were and how they could really take those messages to their school, to their community, and then to the showcase.
Tawny and Bree, I want to ask you this. When you guys go in and talk to younger people, you said you were exposed to it when you were somewhat younger, and you've been a part of it for a while now. When you guys go in and talk to these younger people, how do they respond? What can you give them that's different than, say, an adult or a teacher?
Well, I think since we're a lot closer to their age, like as teenagers and stuff, they're more open to listen to what we have to say. And I think they listen to it more and take it in more and support it more. I don't know what else.
oh. Basically, I agree with her because since they see that we're not that much older than them, they could see, like, if they see that we've been through it and stuff and what we learned out of it, we can give it to them and they'll probably be like, oh, okay, they'll say my mom nagging to me about it or something.